Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Cake and Origins 2018. I'm sitting down with the ever-popular Sean Brown, owner and founder of Mr. B Games, and you brought us Aviation Tycoon.
Yes, I have. Thank you so much for having me over here.
Anytime.
So, Aviation Tycoon, like the quick, if I could amalgamate it into two things, I'd say it was like a little bit of acquire with like some route building of like a ticket to ride.
Okay.
The one thing that always throws new people is that you see all these four-colored airlines and hey, there's blue and red routes and stuff, and on my turn I come out here and I build a blue. I don't own that. We're all investors in all of those airlines, so nobody owns any of them. Like maybe almost a little Union Pacific like too, if you could go way back in the Wayback Machine. So pretty simple game, pretty straightforward. You can play the entire game from this card, which is pretty nice.
That's it. There you go. The end.
You don't even need the rule book. You just need that. The end. Read. We'll pause. Okay, video over. We're done.
All right, so let's first we advance a turn marker.
So on turn 1, pretty simple. Boom. Turn marker 1.
All right.
Second thing, turn over an event. We'll go over to the event deck. We flip this guy over. Hey, look at this. We got some bad weather.
Atlanta is closed.
Atlanta's closed. We take this card. We drop it over Atlanta. No pickups and deliveries in and out of Atlanta for the turn.
And then number 3, draw a passenger for cities.
So at the very beginning, you seed them all 2 per city. In future turns, if there's ever less than 2, you draw back from the bag to fill them back up.
Cubular-shaped people?
The cubes are the passengers. They're squares. The only rule is, like, say I drew a blue and I put it in Seattle. Blue passenger can never be drawn in the city where they come from. So if you draw one, it goes in the bag. You don't draw another. You just miss out that turn. And those are basically deliveries. That's your upkeep. You do that at the beginning of the turn. Everybody takes a round, and then the turn's over, and then you repeat that again. So then a player's turn's pretty simple. Looking at that, you do what they call the special action. So each player started out, like Beth over here, had these 2 special actions.
So like I could add an extra route marker. I can use the start card of any other player.
Right, so you could look at like what I'm doing or one of the other players and say, oh, I want to copy that.
Okay.
And then you can use that ability.
So I have the option to use one of these if I want to.
Right, so we're going to say for this example, you're going to head and use the extra route marker. So we flip it to show you used it.
I've used it.
And then you go to the draw share, play a share. And this is where I say the similarity to a ticket to ride. You have 3 available. You can always take mystery meat if you would like. I'm sure there's a reasonable, normal term for drawing the top undrawn card, but I've always called it mystery meat. So.
Love it.
So in this case, everybody would have a hand of 2 cards that's secret, and so you might look at your hand, and that might determine what you might want to buy.
Alright, so I'll say I'm going to draw that one.
And then you immediately pull, and then from your hand that you just pulled into, you can invest 1 card down to the table, and that will be a stock that you're purchasing, investing into that airline
Let's just say it's green.
So, because you would be the first player to put that green down, you would become the president of the green airline. Hello. Shaking hands and babies, something like this. So, as the president, what would happen is when there's a time for a payout for dividends, the presidents always get paid first, regardless of where they are on the turnover. It's good to be the president. Right? So you get a little bit of a bonus, and then you get paid for all your shares. So your investment round would be over. You've now become the president. You can then take any color airline marker. It does not have to be green. It could be any color that you like, and you may place it on any route on the board. So, just to mess with people, why don't we pick something, I don't know, that would make you some money. Here's a good one. Why don't we take a green airplane and put it on this route right here. Okay? And then the last thing you would do is you would move a passenger. So this guy right here wants to go to Miami. He's a green passenger. Miami's a green city. And he just happens to want to fly over the green airline because you're invested in it. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's always $1,000 to fly on a route. The route direction does not matter. You can fly that way or that way.
Doesn't matter that the planes happen to be pointed back this way.
Just because they're pointing. Go west, young man, does not mean you have to go west. So it's $1,000 to fly there plus $1,000 for every plane on the route. So you take $2,000. You do not make that money, Beth, even though it's your turn. The Bank of Green makes this money, and you hope someday, as an investor, to pull the dividends out of that bank and make that money. And then you pay the airline, which is the last step, and that's an entire turn. You would do that, I would do that. That would be the end of a round, advance the round.
Set a new round up again.
After 4 rounds, you have a payout. Payouts might look something like this, where along the way we've put a little bit of money in here, and these presidents have shifted. Maybe I'm the president of 2, maybe you're the president of 1.
All right.
And maybe you've got a couple of shares. You've got some shares that look like this. You've got some shares that look like this. And we literally just go down the line of the banks and we say, the yellow bank's gonna pay a dividend. And we say, who's the president?
You are the president of Yellow.
El Presidente. So I would get $1,000 for being the president. And then I would get paid first, even though you were the first player. Out of turn order.
Because you're the president.
Right, because I'm the president. And I only own 1 share, so I get $1,000 from a share.
But I don't have any Yellow.
You don't have any shares, so you don't get paid. And then they have the start of a second dividend round. I only get paid on the shares. I have 1, I make the 1. So I was able to drain all that money out of there with only 1 share. And somebody might get really upset like that, like Beth, and then next turn she'll invest in it, and then we would have to split it up. So that kind of gives you an idea. So then blue, we'd have the same problem we just had here. You're the only one with shares, so you're gonna pull all the money out. And then green, we both have shares, so that's where it gets interesting. President makes $1, airline makes $1, there's $1 left over.
Which then
it goes to Beth, and away we go. Now let's say there was partial money left over, because let's say a scenario like this. I had 2 shares, and I'd pull $3, and you had 1 share, and you'd pull $1, and there was only $1 left over. I'd still get it, but I wouldn't get paid my full allotment. So instead of making the $2 I'm required, they only have 1 to pay. You get a minor return on investment. And that's it. Most money at the end of the game wins.
Now, do they pay out twice?
They pay out twice in a 2-player game. They play out 3 times in a 3-player game. And we do that to ensure that everybody gets to be the last player on a payout.
So you have the most control
over how you can do it at least once. And then the hand is so that every time you draw a card, you don't know, you saw me draw yellow, but did I play a yellow I already had? Did I play the one I just drew? And then right before you pay out a dividend, everybody in turn order gets to lay down a share. So we've invested that whole round, and then like last second, you can then analyze the situation and go, oh, nobody has red. Boom, play a red down right before it's time to invest. Of course, you run the risk everybody else might do the same. And that's the game in a nutshell. Plays in about an hour, a little less with fewer people, but a 5-player game will play in about
up to 5 though, so.
Yep, 2 to 5.
All right, well, if you guys want to check that out, that is Aviation Tycoon. This is Sean Brown. This is Mr. B Games, and thank you for letting us take a look.
Thank you very much.